Like I said in my previous video, the weather took a complete turn, and that means that I have to retire my spring and summer capsule wardrobe. But before I do that, of course, I'm gonna share all of my data with you, because for the last good 5 months, I believe, I track my daily outfits, and here are all of my papers with all of the different information. And as I usually do, first I'm gonna go through my entire wardrobe to tell you how much I wore each item. I'm gonna share some lessons that I learned in specific categories, and then at the end I'm gonna give you my overall thoughts about the first half of the experiment. And here's my trusty clothing rail, because this time around I actually want to visually show you how much I've been wearing stuff. As always, we're gonna start with my top. First, I have the pink silk cami and a black halter top that I wore 0 times, so I'm just gonna put them at the front. Then the next section are items that I only worn once. First, we have this cold t-shirt. Then I also have just a really thin pink jumper. I have the orange off-shoulder top, as you can see. And then lastly, I have the black silk cami. In total, 4 items that I worn only once. And now to the items that I wore 2 times. First, I have the white silk cami. Then I have another cami. This one is a little bit more fitted. I also have just a white long t-shirt, an orange thin jumper. This one is the same as the pink one, just in a different color. Then I have the coral button up. Then I have the black bodysuit. And lastly, because I have an empty hanger, the shirt that I'm wearing today. This one is a black silk blouse. I think I have 3, 6, 7 items that I wore 2 times. And by now you can probably tell where this is going, so we're gonna continue with the items that I wore 3 times. First, I have the white bodysuit. This one is the same as the black one, just in a different color. Then I have this really fun off-shoulder top. Then I have this turquoise jumper that is the same as the orange and the pink one, just again in a different shade. Then I have this cashmere turtleneck with shorter sleeves. I have this really fun t-shirt with really unique sleeves. And lastly, a new purchase that maybe you've seen in my latest video, a black turtleneck without any sleeves. So a sleeveless black turtleneck, as you can see. So in total, 6 items that I wore 3 times. And now to the items I worn 4 times. First, I have the white silk button-up. Then I have this cute pink sleeveless blouse. Then I have the sheer silk button-up. This one is in a black color. And lastly, just a classic black t-shirt with long sleeves. So in total, I have 4 items that I wore 4 times. And now we're really getting into my most worn items, because this pile I wore 5 times. So first, I have my beige crop tee. I just love this one so much. Then another new purchase that I bought not too long ago, a black halter top. I'm not sure, vest top, something like that, that it's ripped. Really, really nice. And lastly, a black fitted cami. This one is the same as the white one, just in a black color. So in total, I have 3 items that I worn 5 times, and I'm just gonna do it like this so you can have a visual representation. And now to my holy grails. This item, this is just a black t-shirt with really fun sleeves. This one I wore 6 times. Then I have the white long sleeve tee that is the same as the black one, just in a different shade. This one I wore 7 times. Then I have the crop white tee that actually in the past I barely wore, but because I cropped it this time around, I wore it 9 times. So definitely one of my favorite pieces. And then my winner is definitely the black halter top that I wore 10 times in total. Now that we can see everything, let me tell you some of my lessons. The first one is that all of my crop tops are at the back, so they're my most worn items, and this is really useful data for me, because it means that I can definitely crop some of my items in here in the future. Maybe just this white t-shirt, because I barely wear it, maybe I can crop this one. That's something that I can definitely think about. Then the second lesson here is that the colors at the back are again more neutral. We don't have that many color in here. We have white, black, beige, maybe just, a little bit of color, but we have more color at the front. So for me, that's also useful to know that I don't need to buy that many colors in the future. Maybe a crop top though, that would be fun. And then another thing that was actually really surprising to me, because in the past, this is something that I used to wear all of the time, but all of my camis I barely wore this summer. And this is something that it's supposed to be really nice when it's hot outside, but for some reason, I'm just not reaching for them. And now to the less obvious lessons, which I noticed when I was getting dressed in the morning, and that is that I have too many tops that are very unique, so I can only wear them in specific weather or with a specific bra or with a specific situation, something like that. The prime example for this one is the white top that I worn once. This one has cold shoulders, it's really nice, but because of the sleeves I can hardly layer it. Also the material, it's a little bit thicker, so I cannot really wear it when it's hot outside. So for me this one is not really practical, it doesn't really make sense for the climate that I live in. So that's the first one that I was kind of thinking maybe I can potentially declutter it. And then I have another good example, because this one was driving me mad even though I wore it 3 times. This one I was always either cold or hot in it and I just couldn't make it work because of the material. I believe this one is a cashmere turtleneck with shorter sleeves, but it's also a little bit see-through, so I have a layer underneath that I have to wear with it. And for me, I was just getting so annoyed with it at the end. That's why I decided to buy, based on the data that I've seen, I decided to buy the black turtleneck without any sleeves with a different cotton material. So this one, it's so much better. I wore it 3 times, the same as this one, and honestly the difference is amazing. And then the last lesson here is that I believe that I focus on tops too much. I always think I have to have a really nice selection, but then at the end I just keep wearing the same things over and over again. That's why in the future I really want to focus on my bottoms a little bit more, because I believe that's gonna be a better approach and I'm gonna have a lot more variety in my wardrobe. And now we can continue with blazers and jackets. First we have the least worn section, and here we go again. The coral blazer was only worn once, so it goes right at the beginning. Then I have the black blazer with gold buttons. This one I wore 2 times. And lastly, I have the faux leather jacket that I wore 3 times. So this deserved to be at the beginning. Now for the middle section, first I have the black blazer with silver buttons. This one I wore 4 times. Then I have this really fun denim jacket, white denim jacket that I wore 5 times. And lastly, I have the white blazer that was actually my most worn blazer that I wore 6 times. And now to my most worn section, and here I only have cardigans and denim jackets, which tells you a lot already. But first I have the black long cardigan that I wore 10 times. Then I also have the black short cardigan that I wore 14 times. And then my denim jackets, I have this one that is just a little bit cropped and fitted that I wore 16 times. And then the favorite is this one that I wore 21 times. This one is just a little bit larger, a little bit less dark, and it's not cropped. And as before, let's start with the most obvious lessons. I can see that I actually prefer to wear cardigans and denim jackets as opposed to blazers, which is again a little bit surprising because in the past I used to wear my blazers a lot. And then another thing that I mentioned before is that I don't really like to have colorful outerwear. For me, blazers are not an indoor piece. I mostly wear them as a jacket. And I just don't reach for colorful jackets, and yeah, I think this one again, I might potentially declutter it. Honestly, I feel I don't need to have that many blazers in my collection. I don't need to have colorful blazers in my collection. I prefer the neutral colors and the denim color, and that's it. And now to my bottoms. First I have 2 items that I haven't worn once. The first are these white long pants. They're perfect to wear with sneakers. They have a high waist, but honestly I haven't found a situation to wear them quite yet, but I still want to keep them because I feel they are amazing. And then these jeans are actually something that I haven't worn because they're just a little bit too tight on me with the weight fluctuation, so I'm not gonna decide anything on them yet. And then I have 1 pair of pants that I only wore once, but these are what I call my special occasion pants. So I wasn't expecting to wear them quite a lot, but they have a really nice high waist and they're really long, perfect to wear with high heels. And now to my middle items. First I have the camel pants. These are joggers. They're cropped with a high waist that I just bought not too long ago, and already I wore them 3 times, so that's amazing. Then I also have another pair of pants. These are black pants. They're perfect to wear with sneakers, but because they're just a little bit thick, I wasn't really expecting to wear them a lot in the spring and summer, but 4 times it's still a good amount for me. And then I also have the white straight jeans with a higher waist that I also worn 4 times. And now we're getting into shorter bottoms, which makes sense because it was really hot in the summer. So first I have the black mini skirt that I worn 6 times. And then I have the white denim shorts and the black denim shorts, the same brand, just in a different color, and I wore both of them 8 times. How fun is that? And now here are my most worn bottoms. First I have the black skinny jeans. They are high-waisted. I wore 9 times. Then denim skirt, surprisingly, I wore 11 times. So I feel wearing it in spring, and when it's just a little bit cooler makes more sense than wearing it in the summer. Then my denim shorts, this is something that I wear all of the time in the summer. I wore 13 times. And then the black joggers, they're the same as the camel one, just in a black color. I wore both of them 13 times. And then surprise, surprise, the jeans that I'm wearing today, these are medium wash, they're skinny, they're high-waisted. I wore 17 times. So these are my bottoms, and we can go through some lessons. The first thing here is, if you look at the color palette, and I think I mentioned this before, is I only have black, white, and denim, with the exception of these pants. And in the future, I want to have more beige camel kind of bottoms, maybe shorts, maybe skirts, something like that. So have just a little bit more variety, and I don't really need to focus on my tops so much anymore, because like you've seen today, my most worn items are black, white, and beige. So I think having beige bottoms, it's gonna be amazing. And then the second lesson here is that everything is pretty much fitted, everything is really skinny, and I mean, I have some exceptions, don't get me wrong, but in the future, once I'm getting, you know, new jeans or new pants or anything like that, I'm gonna go for something that is just a little bit with a wider pant, maybe a bootcut jean. Usually when I'm wearing something fitted at the top, I don't want to have something fitted at the bottom as well. So I want to have just a little bit more selection. And now if you go through my dresses, first I have an item that I haven't worn once, because again, I don't know where to wear this one. This one is kind of a special occasion dress. I don't know what to do with this one. I like it, but I have nowhere to wear it pretty much. And now to the dresses that I've only worn once. First I have the black bodycon dress with really fun sleeves. Then I have this off-shoulder jumper dress, which I'm not really surprised that I only wore it once, because you know, it was mostly hot in the last 5 months. Then I have this really nice off-shoulder floral dress, my pink cami dress. Surprisingly, I only wore it once. I thought I wore it more, oopsie. Then I also have a navy skater dress, I believe it's called. And lastly, I know it's folded a little bit weirdly, but this is just a black bodycon dress with long sleeves, a very basic design. So in total, I had 6 dresses that I worn once. And now to the dresses that I worn 2 times. First, we have the floral maxi dress, and I love this dress so much. Again, I'm so surprised I only wore it twice. I thought it was a lot more. And then this one, it's again a floral bodycon dress without any sleeves. And then the 2 dresses that I wore 3 times. First, I have this white off-shoulder, cold shoulder, I think it's called, floral dress. And then another cold shoulder dress in just a coral color. And now to my most worn dresses. First I have this dress. It is again folded a little bit weirdly, but it's just a black sleeveless bodycon dress with a crew neck, a very simple piece that I wore 5 times. Then I have a black maxi dress that is actually a cami dress that I wore 6 times. And then lastly, my most worn dress is this one that I wore 8 times. I think it's pretty obvious that my most worn dresses are also the most versatile, because all of these lovely dresses in the middle that I love so much, when I wear them, they imprint on me so much. I have the impression that I wore them a lot more for some reason. So that's why tracking is really useful, because you can actually objectively see how much you've been wearing something. Because if you would ask me how much I wore this one, I would say 5 times, for example. So I think the lesson for me here is that if I'm buying dresses in the future, I have to make sure they're versatile. As much as I love all of these fun designs, they're not versatile pieces. So something like a white shirt dress, if you remember, that's something that I was thinking about getting. Or even this kind of designs in just a coral color or a pink color. They're really comfortable, really stylish, really versatile. I think that would be absolutely amazing. And now I'm downstairs because I want to go through my shoes, but first I also forgot to show you my coats, because I had proper coats, 2 of them, in my spring and summer capsule as well, in case it got cooler. And this was a great idea because it definitely did. First I have the black trench coat that I wore 12 times, and then my black wool coat I wore 13 times, so pretty much very close together. And when it comes to my coats, I don't think I have anything special to add here. I said this before, but my coat collection is pretty amazing. The only thing that I could possibly think of, if I want to have just a little bit more variety and monochrome outfits, is some kind of a beige lighter coat. But other than that, I'm really happy with the selection. But now, as promised, I want to go through my shoes, and first I want to eliminate 2 pairs because I just recently added them to my collection and I haven't really worn them. So this is the first pair that I'm not gonna include. And then I also have the black ballerinas that I'm also not gonna include. And then everything else in here, as well as my white sneakers, I'm gonna lay down there so we can see how much I wore each item. I only have one pair that I wore 0 times, and these are the heels in question because they're special occasion heels and I had nowhere to go. I'm gonna put them at the back. Then these shoes I wore 2 times. Again, these are kind of more special occasion heels. They're a little bit higher, that's why I didn't wear them a lot. Now in the middle, I'm gonna put 3 different pairs. First are these nude wedges. They're just a little bit lower that I worn 6 times. Then I have these gorgeous nude heels that I wore 8 times. And the same goes for the black wedges. I wore this 8 times as well. Now for my most worn shoes, first I have these faux leather ankle booties in the black color that I wore 15 times. Nude flat jelly sandals I also wore 15 times. Then I have another jelly sandals that I wore 27 times. And the winner by far are my white sneakers that I wore 46 times. Here's the shoe layout so you can see everything visually, my most worn shoes to my least worn shoes. It's something I already knew before, but I can mention it again. The higher the heel, the less I'm gonna wear the shoes. And the only lesson that I really have here is when it comes to my wedges, I really don't wear them loads. Considering how comfortable they are and versatile, for some reason I don't really reach for them that much. That's why I also changed the strap on this one to see if I would wear them a little bit more, but other than that, these are the shoes done. And now I'm upstairs again so I can show you the bags and accessories, and I think this is gonna be easier for me to do it here. And also before I forget, if you're enjoying this video so far, I would really appreciate a thumbs up as always. So thank you. And now, like I said, let's go through my bags. My least worn bag is the nude camera bag that I wore 7 times, and I'm gonna put it here. Then my pink Valentino bag I wore 11 times. My Saint Laurent Lulu leather bag I wore 12 times. Then the coral bag I wore 15 times. And the last one in my middle selection is the black crossbody bag that I also wore 15 times. And I don't know how I can put it so you can see. As for my most worn bags, I have 2 that really surpassed all of these other bags. The first one is the Choke Noof Mini that I wore 28 times, and like I said, when I bought this one I had no idea I'm gonna wear it so much. Maybe I can put it on top, okay. And now for my winner, this one is the Sime Tote Black bag that I wore 39 times, which like I said really surpassed all of my other bags. And when it comes to my handbags, the only lesson that I can think of is that I prefer to wear bags without noticeable hardware. I said this before and I'm gonna mention it again, and that's something to keep in mind of because I have visible gold hardware here and then on the pink bag and the coral bag, and at the end of the day I just prefer to wear handbags without kind of noticeable hardware. And now the only category that is left are my accessories, and then like I said, we're gonna go through my overall capsule wardrobe lessons. I have the black straw hat that I wore 3 times. Then I have the tan belt that I also wore 3 times. White belt with a silver buckle I also wore 3 times. So these are all kind of sharing a spot. Then here is my white belt with a gold buckle that I wore 8 times. My black belt with a silver buckle I wore 12 times. And then my most worn belt is the one that I'm wearing today. This one I wore 16 times in total. It's just a black belt with a gold buckle. And lastly, the winner, this one is the summer beach hat that I wore 19 times. I mean, probably even more, but on holidays I wore it non-stop. I think with my accessories, one thing that really changed the game, if you remember the last summer when I was tracking my capsule, I haven't worn this one once, but ever since I changed the elastic, now I've worn it 3 times, so that's something that I can see that it's a good improvement. And then the other lesson that I have here is that in the hot summer months I mostly wear gold details because all of my belts at the top all have gold hardware. So other than that, I think my selection of belts and accessories is good for spring and summer. And now to the most exciting part, the lessons for the entire 6-month capsule wardrobe, and some of them are really life-changing. Now the first lesson, it's really obvious, and that is that I cannot do a 6-month capsule wardrobe where I live, because with my summer and spring capsule wardrobe I built it around 10th of April, and now I had to call it quits because the weather changed so rapidly, so quickly. In the morning is as little as 8 degrees Celsius, and I know I'm not the only one because I got so many comments of you who feel the same way, that you kind of have to have a 5-7 ratio, so 5 months of spring and summer and 7 months of fall and winter. Now the second one is definitely life-changing, and it's actually really surprising. I've realized it quite quickly, but I haven't thought about this at all, and that is that you're going to shop for whichever capsule wardrobe you decided to build. Meaning that if you have a 3-month capsule wardrobe, when you're gonna be in the store and you're gonna see, let's say, a summer dress, you're gonna ask yourself, okay, can I wear this summer dress in the summer in a 3-month period? And if the answer is gonna be yes, you're gonna buy it. But if you would be a little bit more ruthless and you would ask yourself for the same dress, okay, can I wear this dress in the spring and in the summer in a 6-month period? You would have to think twice about it, because all of a sudden this summer, lovely summer dress, it's not gonna be versatile for spring. And now that you've seen my dresses and my tops, you can definitely see that because I had a 3-month capsule wardrobe for the last 5+ years, I've been definitely shopping for 4 capsule wardrobes a year and not 2. So this is so useful to know, because even if I decide to go to a 3-month capsule wardrobe in the future, I'm gonna keep this in mind and I'm gonna try to buy pieces that I can wear in at least 2 capsule wardrobes, so I can really have versatile pieces. And that brings me to the third point, which is that you can have a lot less item in a 6-month capsule wardrobe as long as you plan well and they're versatile, which is kind of an extension of the previous point. Like I said, when you start shopping for a 6-month capsule wardrobe, you're gonna buy more versatile pieces, meaning you're gonna have less items in the end overall. Now the fourth lesson, it's very personal to me, so not everyone is gonna feel the same way, but with a 6-month capsule wardrobe, because I had, I think, 45 pieces, something like that, on my hangers, I felt my wardrobe was a little bit more overwhelming. So when I was getting ready in the morning or when I had to pick something, I experienced just a tiny bit of a decision fatigue. But when it comes to a 3-month capsule wardrobe where I have around 30 items on my hangers, I believe, that wasn't happening. So that doesn't mean that a 6-month capsule wardrobe doesn't work for me. It only means that I have to plan better and have fewer items that are really versatile, so I can still feel amazing even with a 6-month capsule wardrobe. But then at the different side of the coin, which brings me to a point number 5, is that I learned that it's okay to also have a bigger capsule wardrobe, which I know sounds a little bit contradictory, but in the transitional seasons, in the spring and in the fall, if you remember, I struggled a little bit because I felt I don't have that much variety because the temperatures were changing so much from the beginning to the end, and I wanted to kind of stay true to that 30 items, if that makes sense. But now that I know this and I experimented with a bigger capsule wardrobe, I know that in the spring and in the fall, it's okay to have a few more items because the weather is changing a lot more. But again, I wouldn't go as big as a 6-month capsule wardrobe that I have right now, but just slightly bigger, it's gonna be okay. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you wanna see data for a 3-month capsule wardrobe, which I tracked for the entire year and I have 5 videos on that, I will link a playlist right here so you can watch it next. Thanks for stopping by today, and I will see you next time.